What's up, guys? JJ Fade 23. Uh, I'm gonna make a multi-day Gapper video for the second time. I made this yesterday before this Gapper. That's all I talked about was gold on this video, and it didn't have any volume with it. So I'm kind of pissed off because now, of course, we're gonna have the after the fact traders. But if you guys want me to share the video with you, you can see all the technical analysis. You just can't hear me talking. Anyways, guys, my favorite setup in all of trading, multi-day gapper, which means it's got more than one day gapped up in a row. Like, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Today was a perfect one, like big day, third green day in a row gap up. Guys, I've talked about this in many, many, many videos. I use this daily 4 EMA right here. 90% of stocks, when they come off the 4, they come back to it. I don't care what time frame. They come off the 4, they come back to it. They come off the 4, they come back to it. They come off the 4. So, things I'm looking at is one, big volume like this, indicating it could be coming to reversal soon, reversal volume. A lot of times at reversal points, you get an elevated volume also on any time frame. So we have 1, 2, a third green day gap up. Way a lot of range from the open back to the first target, which is the previous day high. The next target is the daily 4, which is right here. This one he went all the way to the 8, which is crazy. So the first thing we're looking for is multiple days straight up extending off the daily 4. And the volume starting to increase like you're having a reversal volume day. So I saw this yesterday, really big volume extended. I said, ooh, if that gaps up again, that's going to be like an automatic risk 2 or 3R. The other thing I'm looking for, guys, is the 10-minute chart. 10-minute chart with pre-market data off, because I want to gap up really far off these 10-minute EMAs. Because when we gap up far off these, they come back to them like anything else, especially off the 10-minute 4 and 8. They come back to it. I want to show you BNAI we smashed the other day was the same kind of thing, right? Check this out. Right here, you had one baby day. This is a big green day, a little tiny sideways green day, which I don't really count. One green day, 2 green day, massive gap up, way off the daily 4. Look at how far the gap is off the 4 and even farther off the previous day high down here, right? And now if you go check out the 10-minute EMAs, which is not going to look as good now, but that day, look how far. Well, these have come up now because the price action, but that day they were way down here. We were so far off of those, the stock has to come back to them. It's very, very hard for a stock after day 1 to be moving a multiple day gap up way off the daily 4 and way off the 10-minute EMAs and then keep pushing. Silver the other day we traded. Silver was one of those days where it had right here on this day, it had 1, 2, third day gap up, which was like, damn, it was a big gap, but it still pushed pretty far to make that top and tail, which was another great trade in the afternoon. But right here was a tough one at the open. It was the same thing. The EMAs were way down here. We also, guys, remember too, we also had a little bit of elevated volume, not too crazy. This day you had the crazy reversal volume the day of, and that's another tell. If the pre-market volume is super elevated and the first 10, 15 minutes is much higher than the past days, you could be having a reversal volume day. That's why it's good to track the volume in the pre-market and then right off the open to see relatively to the last few days, could this be a reversal volume day? See, like right here, elevated volume compared to these days, and then you get the reversal. Boom, back to the 4. Again, just like the other charts, you guys, gap off the 4 comes back to it, 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 off the 4 comes back to it. So, back to these are the main things. So the volume, the multiple green days in a row, preferably plus 2 or 3 days. Not many stocks are able to get to 4 days. Like today, say if gold gapped up, pushed a little more, and then gapped up again. That doesn't happen very often. The ones that do that are usually only if they have like these kind of little days, gap up little days. No, I wouldn't really try to short these because the days are so small. There's no range on them. So yeah, of course, okay, you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row because it's very tiny, tight, very small range. It's not extending off the 4 like I like. So how do you trade this, guys? This is what happens most of the time. As always, guys, I track everything I do, every setup. I keep it in its own little bucket on my OneNote. But hold on, this is what happens, guys, a lot of times they start very early in the morning. So let me take this over here. Take the pre-market. I remember I used the pre-market data off for the 10-minute shot, but on the 5-minute shot, I had the pre-market data on because I want to see what I'm doing. Now, guys, a lot of times these stocks are either going to reach their highs early, in the afternoon on the day before or early in the morning, right? So what I like to do is go from the high, which think is going to be a hard time to break once it tops out there, throw my fibs on, and then as always, guys, I call this lower high position. Anywhere above the 61 fib, most of the time it happens in this zone. Between the 61 and 78% fib is where I love to be because that gives me the ability to be able to risk off the true place the stock feels. Guys, if you're shorting a stock at the 50 fib or the 61 fib and you're trying to jam your stop down to like right below, you're going to get stopped out a lot. In my opinion, your stop should always be the true place that it failed last. And not only that, out of room of a fake breakout of that area. Because this could have went up to here and then failed on a little fake breakout. I want to have my stop over the last true place it failed and also out of reach of a fake breakout. But guys, remember, it's all about risk reward. So you don't want to be shorting at 509, risking $6 if you only have $6 target. But, this thing had room to drop, so that's great. So, of course, I wasn't awake over here. I wasn't trying to wake up at 4 in the morning to trade a stock. I don't care. I usually last night I told everybody in the room, I'm getting up early, 7 o'clock, so I can be here for a pre-market because I knew this. Hopefully, I thought this was going to set up. If it gapped up, it will be an A-plus setup. So, then we came over here. Now I'm awake. I see we got the 61 fib right here. Once we started topping out right here, I took my first entries right here. And it was still early, right? It was only, right here, it was only like 7 in the morning, I think, so 7:30 maybe. So I don't want to be like getting too much full size in pre-market until it closer to the open. But now over here, guys, what do we say in the room? What did we say in the room? We said, hold on, let me find it. What I wanted to see was this to come push up over this area, 61 fib. At the open, I want to see the stock push up and fail. A fake breakout over that area. Because that will give me another clue to add as it fails, which is exactly what I did. And for all the people who like to talk shit about after fucking this, after that, whatever, let me find it for you because I know the haters will come out in full effect. So, all right, here we go. This is at 9:15. I'm watching for the clear out of the 510 area, fake breakout into the pivot right there, which is exactly what we got, right? If you zoom in, the stock popped up. It went over this 61 fib, over this little intraday, and then right there is when I added to my position. Full size now, guys. As you can see, full size now, I'm risking off the highs. So I'm in around 509, risking 515. I'm risking $6, and I'm covering. The last cover was down at 487. So great risk to reward trade. But guys, so remember, what you want to have it top out in pre-market, and then you want to try to get in lower high position as close as you can to risk off this, preferably at least the 61 fib start. I don't usually short at the 38 fib because the risk is too wide, unless you get a really obvious trigger. Let's say this came down to here and it only popped to right here at the open, but it was a really good trigger, like a pop and stuff, or it's pushing in a little bit, low volume, it's struggling. Guys, also too, remember, look. See this right here? Guys, the volume. I'm looking at the max volume off the open. I'm watching to see, is it going to be crazy volume or is it just like, is it puttering out? And then that gives me confidence too. If this just starts screaming higher on like millions of volume, millions of shares on each 1 minute candle, I'm like going to be more hesitant. I'm going to wait. So, yeah, that's pretty much the same thing. Same thing as BNAI, right? If you look over here, right, guys? Again, right? Stock tops out either in the afternoon or in the morning. Once I see it topped out, I know it topped out by the topping. I do the same thing, guys. Put my fibs on. I want to be short at least at the 61 fib. Boom, right here. Entry. Right? Entry, risking off the highs, which is, on this case, about $12 risk. And then it drops friggin' $40 or $30. You know what I mean? Like, how many dollars did y'all from there? It's 70 down to $40. Yeah, so you got a great risk reward trade right there. A great risk reward trade. So, and the other thing about this setup, guys, if the stock, once again, also too, remember, I showed you guys, it's far off the 10-minute EMAs with the pre-market data off, far off the daily 4, which is a great reversal indicator for long and short when the stock gets extended off it. And if you look over here, might as well talk about this while we're on it. Silver, this day, where it gapped up and pushed. Silver was a little tricky that day because we did the same thing, right? It came up here. I wasn't trading this early. It's too early in the morning. Right here, it came back up. I took a starter and I gave it a little wire stop. Came down here, pushed up, stopped me out. Once it gets over the pre-market high, I stopped out. And then it came back and retested this area and started to push, so I left it alone. You'll see on my Twitter, I didn't trade it again until right here. Until this trend break happened and this bounce I entered and took it down to here. Why did I do that? Because now I'm really loving this, because if you look on the daily chart, Jesus Christ, this fucking phone. You look on the daily chart, guys, as this topping tail happens, look how far it's getting off the 4. And I knew that day had massive reversal volume. So it was the same idea. And also, guys, on the 10-minute chart, wow. On the 10-minute chart, I'm not that important of a person. But you'll see on the 10-minute chart, it's getting extended away from the 2134. So you don't want to be shorting right here when it's like right there, right? Look at this gap up right here in trend break. You want to short this trend break right here? You're shorting it right into the 10-minute 21 that are clearly stacked positive. You're asking for a cruising. When the 10-minute EMAs are stacked positive, the stock's mostly going to go up until it gets extended enough. And when they're stacked negative, it's mostly going to go down. As you see, these things work amazing. They're going sideways, it's going sideways. They cross up, it goes up, up. They cross down, it goes down. They cross up, it goes up. This is why I like the 10-minute EMAs with pre-market data off. If you turn the pre-market data on, all you have is fucking crisscross applesauce all over the place. How can you, it's just too much signals, right? So, and now, like I was saying, guys, once you know that you should get a topping tail, right, on this day, it's the third day. 1, 2, 3, it's extending. You have a super high chance on a day 3 extension off the 4 like this. It's very slim chance that's gonna close near its highs up there with this kind of extension off the 4 and that kind of extension off of the 10-minute 21 on another gap up day. Very high chance to close at least 50% lower from its candle. What I mean, when I took that short, I was aiming for it to short up here and close at least halfway down that candle to make a topping tail. Remember, guys, one of the most important things in trading is visualizing what this daily candle is going to be. If you have a really good memory of looking at a good pattern recognition brain, right? Your brain starts to remember what happens every time you see this pattern and that pattern and this pattern. And then if you know what the candle should close like, if you know the candle, let's just say, for example, you have a day 1 break. Let's say this is a little flag right here you want to trade, right? A little flag pattern, you break out. Your brain tells you day 1 on a flag break can close at the highs. Day 2 can even close at the highs. So you can long knowing that you should close near the highs on both these days. But day 3 is probably going to close weak, so you can short at the top. So, this, you always have to be imagining what that daily candle is going to be. I always do that. Always. Don't forget to do that on the higher time frames. What's this bigger picture candle gonna look like? What should it look like at the end of the day? Remember, we trade in shoulds, not coulds. If it's not a should, then don't trade it. Anyways, I don't want to blab on forever. I probably left out stuff that I didn't leave out. Last night I was revved up to make this video. I think I did a much better job, but unfortunately, my microphone wasn't recording, so I don't know. But I think overall good. If anyone has any questions, let me know. It's not overly complicated. Multiple green days in a row, extension away from the daily 4, extension away from the 10-minute EMAs. Look for the top to be set, and then enter on low or high position using your fibs with risk a little above the high. All right? And reversal volume clues on all time frames. Guys, remember, it doesn't matter what time frame you're looking at. Look. Big, huge dump, reversal volume, and you get the bounce, right? Look, pretty big spike. This day that I shorted right here, I was also paying attention that was the highest volume, that candle right there of the day. That first 10-minute candle is just about the highest volume of the day. That's tell me that it's ready for a reversal, right? So here we go. Let's fucking go.